We are the world's largest jailers. We consist of 5% of the world's population, but we, the United States of America, house more than 20% of our entire world's prison population, according to the American Civil Liberties Union. Today, I will be speaking to you on how our prison system can benefit from using practices from foreign prison systems such as Germany and Norway to make our society a better place, because when those prisoners re-enter society, it's in everyone's best interest that they come out better in the mental state than when they went in. For 2 whole years, my junior and senior year of high school, I researched on this topic extensively and since have kept up on the issue. I will speak to you first today on how prisons in America are falling behind those in Germany and Norway. Secondly, on how we can focus more on helping our prisoners like Germany and Norway do with their prisoners, and what changes we can make to ours to make it better. This all starts with how our prisoners are living and the mindsets they have while living in prison. So how prisoners in America are behind from those in Germany and Norway. Prisons today are damp, cold cells that are normally dirty and tight, packed in with 2 people. The cells in Germany look like a dorm room. The cell right here has a TV, a bed, colorful sheets, mugs, things that in our society we think is dangerous to give prisoners. Whereas the one on the farthest side is what our prison system looks today. And they're even able to wear their own clothes in prison that they get from their house. In a New York Times article titled "Lessons from European Prisons," we are provided the statistic that on average, the US sentences people to an average of 3 years in prison, whereas Germany, 90%, and Norway, 75% of sentences are no more than 12 months. And also in Germany, 75% of prisoners with a life sentence are paroled after just 20 years or less. These other systems rely more on fines and large probationary years rather than incarceration, unless incarceration is absolutely necessary for the help of that prisoner. In an article on STEMIT called "The Norwegian Prison System Part 1, it says that Norwegian prison guards are not allowed to be armed with any type of weapon besides gas or shields, and these are only used when absolutely necessary to keep the prison calm. This allows for prisoners and guards to have more peaceful interactions and not be hated at each other as much. This man right here, he murdered 3 people in Norway, and every Friday, after 15 years of being a model citizen in prison, he's allowed to walk around the town with his family every Friday for about 3 hours. So how can we focus on helping our prisoners like they did for that man? Well, the mindset of our prisoners here is very one-minded. They're acted like criminals, they're treated like animals in a zoo, and guards are treated like zookeepers, constantly just throwing food at them, not taking care of them, thinking they're just pieces of dirt or meat. And the mindset for those prisons in Norway and Germany is to make them a better person when they come out and not hate the world as much. In a 60 Minutes piece that aired this year, March 31st, we learned that German prison guards aren't just trained to guard the prisoners they're guarding, they're also trained and very knowledgeable on the subjects of psychology, criminology, law, human rights, and also ethics. These allow for guards to control prisoners not with harsh batons or weapons, but through more casual conversation and de-escalation of situations. We need to stop thinking of prisoners as animal and actual people. In the same 60 Minutes article, the warden of a German prison called Wardenburg, sorry, I mispronounced that one. It's called Waldeck. The prison, yeah, a little off, that's okay. The German prison warden asked the interviewer this question: do you want to see people leave our prisons angry at the world and wanting to go back and take it out on everyone? Or do you want to see them go back and be happy to re-enter society, to be back with their families? So after this, what changes can we make to make our prison system better for the people that we are incarcerating? Well, we can start with some small changes, such as not treating our prisoners like zoo animals, or training our prison guards to learn certain subjects that will help them de-escalate situations without violence, like psychology, and other subjects for that matter. The guards also should not be carrying firearms or deadly weapons for any means, because If there were a fight to break out and they intervened, those weapons could be used against them and against the other officers that are on duty. If we start these small changes in lower prison systems that are minimum security, we can see how this is going to affect the maximum security prisons, and we can slowly see how we can integrate these into more societies and more prisons. Now, as I end my speech, I would like to remind you what I have recently talked about. I spoke about how the U.S. system is far behind other nations such as Germany and Norway on this issue, how prisons here should be more focused on helping the prisoners, and what small changes we can make to help those prisoners in this prison system. If we were to make these changes slowly, we'd be able to change our neighborhoods and our nation for the better. These changes would even help our nation become safer for our children and our children's children. And I'd like to leave you with one last fact. In the United States, 76.6% of prisoners released from prison will re-enter the prison system within 5 years. In Germany, 28% of people who leave the prison system will return ever.